died. I thought rather obvious that you should apologize.
Your new book is Your Government Failed You. You write a lot about the Department of Homeland Security. How well have they improved our domestic security since its inception?
Well, that is the title of the book, Your Government Failed You. It's not about 9/11. When I said your government failed you, I assumed, speaking about 9/11, that that was a fairly rare event in American history. And I assumed the failures related to terrorism and related issues would stop after 9/11. And in fact, there have been many more failures, and to some extent even larger failures, since 9/11. Homeland Security, I think, is one of them, frankly. If you remember the history of the creation of this department, it's the second largest department in the government, largest after the Defense Department. President Bush didn't like the idea. I didn't like the idea. Governor Ridge, who had come in after 9/11 into the White House, didn't like the idea either of creating a department. We're in the middle of going after Al-Qaeda. We're in the middle of reducing our vulnerabilities around the country, and people wanted to have us focus on bureaucratic issues. And in Washington, when you're doing a reorganization of any size, people focus on where their desk is, and do they have a window with a view, and who their boss is, and all of those things, rather than on the substance of the job. So you want to keep reorganization to a minimum. And what happened was that the Congress over here wanted to do something, wanted to be seen to be doing something after 9/11. And so Senator Lieberman, who was a Democrat at the time, proposed this department. He took recommendations from some commissions that had been studying these issues and took those recommendations pretty much lock, stock, and barrel. And they started to move a bill, and it was looking really good to pass in the House and to pass in the Senate, with Republicans voting for it as well as Democrats. And so we told the president this. His legislative affairs people came up with the head count, and they said, oops, and turned on a dime from opposing the idea to saying it was their idea. And the president walked out into the Rose Garden, made the announcement that he'd come up with this brilliant idea, and we should have a Department of Homeland Security, without so much as referencing the fact that it was the Lieberman proposal. So we had one, even though we didn't want one, even though we didn't think it was a good idea. And I don't think it's worked. It has a higher percentage of political appointees than any department in the entire federal government, when it should have had a lower percentage, because it should be a nonpartisan, expert, security-focused organization.